What's up, football fans? Christopher Mabry here, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Die Hard Football Podcast here on the DFP Network. Today, we are taking a look at what could be an incredible 2024 NFL season. But before we get there, we have to preview what's to come in the NFL. 18 weeks, 17 games. Plus, you got the playoffs, including the Super Bowl. It's a long season. We're here to break it down tonight. So, without further ado, we're going to start with the AFC West and the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, they had a great NFL season, winning the Vince Lombardi Trophy and the Super Bowl for this second consecutive year. They are hoping to get a three-peat, which hasn't been done in a very long time. But before we get there, let's preview their schedule as well as the AFC West and all of the other NFL divisions and teams. First, we got the Chiefs. They start off Thursday at home, week 1 against Baltimore. These two teams go at it pretty much every season. Right now, yes, it is a home game. Baltimore's had their struggles with Kansas City before in the past. I'm going with Baltimore Ravens on this one. Now, number 2, it's another AFC North opponent. Second game at home for the Chiefs against the Cincinnati Bengals. This game's going to be tough. I'm going with the Chiefs. Joe Burrow and the Bengals don't really have much of a competition against the Chiefs. I think that's going to be, the Bengals' downfall in this game. But you never know. It is early on. We're just predicting these games this season. Week 3, you got the Chiefs and the Falcons on a Sunday. The Falcons, they got Kirk Cousins in the offseason. Falcons are looking to rebuild. Kansas City still has Patrick Mahomes. Keep that in mind. I'm going with Kansas City, and the same thing goes to week 4. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning their matchup against the LA Chargers. Week 5, you got the Monday Night Football game where the Chiefs are at home against the New Orleans Saints. Saints still have Derek Carr. They're still trying to rebuild in their second year with Derek Carr. It is hard to win at home or on the road if you're the Saints, and I don't see that happening. Kansas City Chiefs, after 5 weeks of the season, are 4-1, 2-1 at home, 2-0 on the road. However, they are 0-1 against a team with a winning record. 4-1 against playoff teams, 1-0 in the division, and 2-1 in the conference. But there's a lot more games to go. I think we're going to predict the games here in a little bit with the Chiefs remaining AFC West schedule and the Chiefs schedule. Early bye, week 6. That could be a problem going forward with injuries, being that it's this early. Chiefs and 49ers, a Super Bowl doubleheader rematch. Last year's Super Bowl and then 2020 Super Bowl. But looking at last year, you have Brock Purdy going up against Patrick Mahomes. This is the second matchup for Brock Purdy. Hopefully, 2 times the charm for Purdy. I'm going with the 49ers in this one. Divisional matchup, opponent number 2. Remember, they're 1-0, at least right now, thanks to the win against the Chargers on the road. Now they're having to go into the black hole in Las Vegas, Nevada against the Raiders. I could see the Chiefs winning this game. Buccaneers at the Chiefs. Tom Brady's not there though, but you do have Baker Mayfield, who has been pretty well with Tampa Bay. You're back at home. I'm going with the Chiefs, and the same thing goes week 10 as they host the Broncos. Even though Denver doesn't have Russell Wilson anymore, I'm not quite sure who's going to be the starting quarterback for them. But at this rate, even with it being Sean Payton, I don't see much going on with the Broncos. And we'll get to the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chargers here in a little bit. But I have Chiefs winning those 2 games. Chiefs and the Bills. This matchup has been back and forth. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Knowing that it's in week 11 towards the end of the season, there's probably going to be snow on the ground. It's probably going to be a little chilly. I'm going to take the favorable odds and go Buffalo Bills. Week number 12, Chiefs and the Panthers. Panthers, they're getting a new stadium down the line, or renovations with their stadium. They still have Bryce Young at quarterback. This is year 2. We hope that Bryce Young can improve. Personally, I don't think so. Even though this is a home game for Carolina, I have the Chiefs winning this matchup. Now we go to week 13. Raiders at the Chiefs. We go back to when these 2 teams squared off in week 8. I had the Chiefs winning against the Raiders. Now, I do this on most of, these schedule predictions, is I like to reverse the script. And I picked the Chiefs to win against the Raiders. So I'm picking the Raiders to face to beat the Chiefs, and the Chargers to beat the Chiefs. Now we go to week 15. Chiefs and the Browns. Browns have been improving. Deshaun Watson is with Cleveland. I don't know if it'll help much. In this matchup, I got the Chiefs going against, winning against Cleveland. The Chiefs and the Texans. I have the Texans winning against the Chiefs. Or the Chiefs winning against the Texans, in week 16. Week 17, Steelers hosting the Chiefs. Russell Wilson is possibly the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh. I'm going with the Chiefs over the Steelers. Broncos over the Chiefs. So, lock it in, ladies and gentlemen. That is a conference rank of 3. 5-3 at home, 6-3 on the road. 11-6 is what I'm predicting for the Chiefs. 3-3 in a division. So we'll see how the other conferences do, or the other teams in the conference do right now. Let's go with the Raiders, who are sitting at second in the conference, or in the AFC West, but fifth in the conference. All right. So in just a few seconds, we'll go through that. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, and welcome back. We are looking at our second team in the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders. After looking at the Chiefs' 2024 predictions, we have the Raiders currently sitting at 1-1. Let's first knock out those division opponents. First, you have the Raiders at the Chargers. Not much of a time zone difference. I got the Chargers winning that game against the Raiders. And then you also have the end of the season, the Raiders winning that matchup in week 18. Let's go to week number 2. The Raiders at the Ravens. Like we talked about earlier, I think the Ravens has this on lock week number 2. And the Raiders will win week number 3. Week number 4, the Browns taking on the Raiders. Browns have been pretty good. Raiders been okay. I got the Browns winning that game. I got the Raiders winning against the Broncos in week number 5. I'm still undecided who's going to start for week number 6 game with Pittsburgh. But I don't think it's going to matter who will start that. I could see the Steelers winning that one. Rams hosting the Raiders. I got the Rams with that one. Raiders at the Bengals for week number 9. I got that. With the Bengals winning that matchup. Week 10, Raiders get a bye. Well needed bye. Week 11, Raiders at the Dolphins. Tua versus O'Connell. I got Tua winning that one. Tua and the Dolphins. Broncos and the Raiders. If we go back to that matchup somewhere. Broncos and the Raiders. I got the Broncos since the Raiders won their first matchup. Week 13, I got the Raiders winning the Chiefs. We had established that earlier. Week 14, Raiders and the Buccaneers. I got the Buccaneers winning that one. Week 15, the Falcons at the Raiders. I got the Raiders. Kirk Cousins doesn't do too well on prime time, and that matchup is a prime time game. Uh, week 16, Jags at the Raiders, and you got 17 Raiders at the Saints. I got the Raiders winning both matchups. And then we had week 18, the Raiders hosting the Chargers, and the Raiders winning that one. So, sitting at 8 and 9, 10th in the conference, meaning they are just three teams out of the playoffs at 8 and 9. We still got a lot of teams to go in this division and conference. Right now, the Broncos and the Raiders are not in the playoffs. Chargers have improved to 2-2, and we haven't done them yet. 1-3 are the Broncos, and we haven't done them much, anyways. We just completed 4 of their games. You know what? Let's go with those Broncos. Let's ride, Broncos. Let's ride. Let's ride with your schedule preview. You got the Broncos and the Seahawks. Seahawks for once an AFC team. Surprisingly, if you did not know that, they were. Geno Smith is Seattle's quarterback. Broncos, I'm not sure who that would be. I'm going with Seattle. Week number 2, Steelers at the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos on that one. Week 3, Broncos at the Buccaneers. And it's not looking good for you, Denver. Week 4, you got the Broncos and the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is playing in this game, I got Aaron Rodgers and the Jets winning this. Things can change. Chargers and the Broncos. Broncos are at home in this divisional matchup in week number 6. You know what? I got the Broncos. Also in week 5, you have the Raiders winning against the Broncos. Week number 7, Broncos at the Saints. I'll take the Broncos. Same thing with week 8, Panthers at the Broncos. We'll go Broncos. Week 9, Ravens hosting the Broncos. Ravens got Broncos beat. Chiefs wins against the Broncos in week 10. Week 11, Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. And, they're going up against the Broncos. I'm going with Falcons. Raiders beat the Broncos week 12. Week 13, we're going to see Cleveland host or go up against Denver. I got Denver winning that matchup due to the elevation. Week 14, you have a bye. So we're going to go to week 15. Colts and the Broncos should be a good matchup, even though you don't have Peyton Manning in this matchup. But I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I'm going with the Broncos. Broncos and the Chargers. I'm going with the Chargers. No, I'm going Broncos. Broncos is my fun pick. Broncos and the Bengals. Burrow hosting this. Let's go Bengals. And then the Chiefs. Actually, the Broncos win against the Chiefs in Week 18. Double check, make sure all my games are locked in. And they are. So after we pick the Broncos 2024 schedule, they're sitting 9th in the conference. 8-9 record, 3-3 in the division, 6-2 at home, 2-7 on the road. And looking at the tiebreakers, you got percentage versus league. So right now, looking at the West, the Wild Wild West, it's looking like an 11-6 record for the Chiefs, sitting at 3-3 in the division standings. 8-9 in the second spot for the Raiders. 8-9 for the Broncos. But because the Raiders are 4-2 in the AFC West versus Broncos 3-3, Raiders have the second spot. It looks like Broncos are in third, and we haven't done the Chiefs yet, or the Chargers yet, in full. But they are 2-4. Talk about them. Chargers at the Cardinals for Week 2, as we see the Broncos defeated the Chargers in Week 1. Kyler Murray's supposed to be back for the Cardinals. I don't know how well that's going to help them, but I got the Chargers beating the Cardinals. Saints and the Chargers. I got the Chargers winning that matchup. Next, you have Chargers and the Browns. I got the Browns winning that one. Chargers and the Titans. Titans have been an okay team. Made the playoffs a couple years ago. Missed out most seasons. Same thing with the Chargers. Titans supposed to be looking really good this year behind Pollard. I got Tennessee. Bengals and the Chargers. I got the Chargers. Ravens and the Chargers. Ravens all day. Chargers and the Falcons. Let's show some love for the ATL. Buccaneers and the Chargers. Let's go Buccaneers. Broncos defeated the Chargers in Week 16. Week 17, they're going to win against the Patriots. In Week 18, the Raiders beat the Chargers. That finishes it out, the AFC West. Chargers sitting at 6-9 overall, 11th in the conference, 2-4 in the division, 4-7 in the conference. So if we're looking at these standings, you got the Chiefs at 11-4 or 11-6. They won the conference. Then you got the Broncos or the Raiders in second, the Broncos in third, Chargers in fourth, 9th, 10th, and 11th spot go to the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers, respectively. And that concludes our AFC West preview. Make sure to join us for another edition of the 2024 NFL preview. I am Christopher Mabry. Thank you for watching and enjoy the NFL season.